You're not stuck because you lack discipline, and you're not stuck because you don't understand yourself. Some of the smartest people I met are the ones that repeating the same emotional patterns for years. Today I want to explain why intelligence doesn't break loops and what actually does. First, you have to understand the difference between intelligence versus patterning. Why thinking doesn't override conditioning. So, you might be intelligent in solving tasks, in doing multiple things, in analyzing the pattern, but thinking doesn't override the conditioning part. The conditioning is something which is developed inside you through your experiences, through the survival mode you have been through the patterns and things you have picked up in your lifetime, which helped you survive till now, which help you escape some particular thing, which help you excel in few of the scenarios. But what happens is, you must have heard that to grow you should let go of your old self. That comes from there. Technically, whatever you have learned is always useful in future, but many times is there are few identity linked in your brain or how you react to a particular situation. Those don't always serve the purpose. As and when you grow, you that needs to be changed or altered depending on that. So that's why, because of the intelligence, you can see that pattern. You can recognize where you get triggers, what hurts you, what words can flip your emotion upside down. But to break that is the overriding conditioning part. Now, from the neuroscience angle, we have to understand that brain prioritizes safety over logic. So, brain's function is to keep you safe, irrespective of anything. So, even if logically you are overreacting to a particular situation, if someone mentioned something which triggers you, for your brain it's pretty normal because it's keeping you safe, and that safeness has been built through repeated pattern throughout your life. You have experienced it somewhere, you have used that over the course of life, and that is how you have learned that survival tactic for your own experience. So your brain knows this is the tactic and it will use it irrespective of that if it's good, logical or no at the current moment of time. And that is where the familiarity comes in. Familiarity of that is that you are familiar with this patterning. Your body is adapted to reacting on particular situation. Your body is remembers to react to particular situation in this manner, so it will do that only. And that doesn't mean it's correct, or that doesn't mean it's wrong. It's how the pattern and the development has happened over the course of time. The second thing you have to understand is the loop mechanism. Emotional memory stored in nervous system. So there is something called emotional memory, especially we call the main one is the home emotion, where you feel the safest, the way you act, the way you behave, the way you respond, and this is all set up in you throughout your experiences. And this emotional memory make sure that they are in every part of you. So if you're not okay with someone touching you, you will react abruptly. You won't feel nice at all if someone just pokes you also. That is what emotional memory is related to your nervous system also. Second thing is reaction happens before reasoning. So for everything there is a little gap in between, and that gap is where calmness plays a bigger role. For example, if someone tells you you are useless, and this wording, this sentence is associated to you in a very negative connotation, where you have been always told this from childhood or something, you will automatically react to this in however you have done it before, either abruptly getting angry, either fighting it out with someone, confronting someone, or becoming sad and quiet. So there are multiple ways you have designed your body and your emotions to respond to. Now, this reaction happens automatically without any reasoning happening. Is that person saying from a point of sarcasm? Is it just telling just to taunt you? So before the reasoning can come the to the main point, or before you can think that from what angle, some things are just stored in your body and your nervous system that you will react irrespective. In the gap between that reacting is the key point. If you take a pause in between and react, that is where the change comes into factor. And that change even tells your brain, oh, what did we do now? Your brain gets confused for that moment because you took a pause. And that point, it happens intentionally. How? Through awareness. Now, why deciding to change fails? Many times, what happens is there are multiple scenarios to this. Now, for example, if you have a habit of smoking, you would decide, I will quit smoking, and right after that, the next day, something happens, you're in pressure, you smoke. Through multiple things which has happened over the course of our lifetime, we tell something and we don't do it to ourselves, not even to someone else. Our brain subconsciously register this, and so whenever you decide to change, especially during the motivational peak, what happens is during that phase it lasts. As soon as the motivation is over, everything returns back to the same thing, and that is why deciding to change also fails. Now, why effort plateaus? Discipline applied on top of dysregulation. Now, this is a very crucial part. Let's say there is a dysregulation factor, okay? What most of us do is implement a discipline quotient on top of it. It works. It works like wonders until it all falls down again. Because it's all balancing on a small piece of, because it is all balancing on a small piece of puzzle. So once what happens, this discipline factor is happens in a manner of pile up, and once the pile up is too much, everything just falls down back to where it was, and it's more in a negative cycle, and you go in a different pattern or loop of a much more negativity, because self judgment comes in. You start talking negatively about yourself to you. Many things happen that you're not able to keep up with this discipline. Maybe it's not for you. Many things, then you start overthinking and you go in that loop as well. So because of that one wrong pile up of discipline on top of dysregulation, multiple channels of loops open up, which are always in a negative connotation. Now, overworking as disguised loop is also a bad thing. So for people who are who have seen this pattern and they know how to break it now, they think they know how to break this. What they do, they try overworking things. They try to disguise. They try to hide it. They try to nurture it. They're like, okay, we'll concentrate more on work, so automatically the emotion things will go down, and it happens. Many people think that if they focus it on work, that will automatically go. No, it doesn't go like that. It will always stay in your subconscious mind, and subconscious mind is doing the most of your work in the brain. So it stays in a until and it finds the moment to come out automatically. And burnout factor comes into picture. Now when burnout happens, burnout is as it happens and it indicates like a signal. It gives you a signal, okay, you're taking it in wrong direction. But instead of taking burnout as a signal, we take it as a weakness. That, oh man, I couldn't keep up with this. Oh, what's the point? I tried this also, I've tried that. And then you make a belief system of yourself that this doesn't work out at all. And then it auto generates to your first initial thought of negative, what if it doesn't work out, and then you get the answer in that manner. See, I told you it doesn't work out, and you make a very strong belief towards that thing and towards your own self, which is a big negative spiral completed and stamped, and that stays with you, and that becomes your new emotional identity, which is there in your nervous system. And because of that, you are in much more deeper spiral of your life. Now you have to understand how to break this. What we talked about now is a force actions kind of a scenario, but there's a difference. We are talking about reset, not force. Now reset is clearing accumulated load, and force is temporary suppression. All these things which I talked about, overworking or discipline, applying discipline on dysregulation, these are all force suppression methods. But like I said, if you pile up on top of that, you'll go in burnout, you'll go in a bigger negative spiral, and you'll make a new belief system which is not true. And because of that, we don't want that. We don't want to torture ourselves with that. We need a reset. We need a clearing accumulated. We need a method of clearing accumulated load. And that is when the clarity emerges. After reset, not before that. Before that, we'll be still in a vague cycle of doubts, questioning, overthinking. But only after reset is when we get to know that, okay, this is it and this is what is supposed to happen. And once you come out of loop, start and you implement this, you'll keep on coming out of loops. And that is when clarity will hit you. It will hit you like a dart on point. And that is when you will connect with your true self. That true self will help you understand your purpose in life and everything revolving around you now. Now, you need to understand a practical reframe of this is you should stop asking, what should I do? You should start asking, what keeps repeating? Only that one key will change most of the stuff in your life. And direction comes after loop interruption, remember that. Because first is awareness. Awareness helps you see that loop. Second is interrupt it. Take a pause. Take a quick pause. And we'll learn how to get pauses, how to develop this pause, uh, how to develop this pause energy, how to get to know when to pause. And with that, once the interruption will start, direction will automatically will open up. So if you feel this pattern running your life, the link below helps you decide it.